Dave Smith, Ward's Auto World. When you take out that nasty old radiator, engine, transaxle, and all that stuff up front that saves your life in accidents, and you go to a battery pack and nothing up front, are you the first one to the accident, or how does that work? How are you going to design the front end of that car, or the side, or the back, wherever the federal regulations take you? By the way, the federal government now owns everybody, so they got a specific right. How do you design for safety after you go to this new technology?
Well, I think you'll find that engines aren't very good in crashes.
Right.
The
worst part of it.
They don't crush very well, engines, and so I think actually if you take them out, it's actually quite nice to have some crushable space in there. So radiators are maybe something else, but engines themselves are not helpful in an accident to have in front of you.
No, it's actually the body structure. You want it to crumple slowly and actually absorb the accident, so it'll actually be easier to create a body structure.
A lot of engineering goes into figuring out how to control that engine in a head-on collision. So without that kind of mass up there, without all that machinery up there, I think we can easily make it even safer than they are today.
But there was a second component to your question about battery packaging, and we do have to be concerned about that because it is a high voltage unit, and you want to place it in a place somewhere in the car where it will be least vulnerable on front, rear, and side impact. So you do have packaging challenges with the high voltage battery system.
I'm not sure you've been following Formula One, but they now have this new KERS system where the drivers have to be able to jump out of the car without touching the ground, otherwise they get 600 volts run through them. So there's still an issue there, and I think Formula One might show us some ways in terms of how they can handle that kind of voltage.
Bob, have you done any crash tests of the Volt yet?
I just designed them. I don't.
Okay, that's true. Yeah.
I'll try not to crash one when I get to drive it too.
I didn't mean inadvertent ones.
Yeah,
You know, actually,
but you were talking about that
without going
earlier.
into the engineering part of this too much, like Maurice said, but you know, we are driving around with gas tanks, which are highly explosive, and at least we have actually done a lot of crash tests already in our vehicle, and where we have placed the battery, we have actually no problems at all with it, and I think there's a misconception probably in that area as well, and that's just because we've been used to driving around with these explosive gas tanks for 100 years, so we don't think about it anymore.